Hi, I'm Gary Allen and welcome to a new project. Today we have some interesting challenges. As well as making the front yard look better, we've got to meet some challenges for drainage at the front door. And also, we're going to consider adding a new surface to the entry of the sidewalk close to the home. Now, we're going to meet these challenges head on today's Designer's Landscape. We seem to have somewhat of a formal entry here with the way the horseshoe goes to the front door and even this wall with the columns and out to the street. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different specimens lined up along the curb. Now we can't take the big palms out or the camellias, so we'll probably transplant these 2 sagos here on both sides to the back, help create a focal there. And then we've got these long stretches, see, that the yard is broken up to. Even with the wall here, that's not a problem. We'll see how the curves or how we can enhance this look using some ground cover and low plants again to make our accent. Can you tell the slope here? Everything water-wise drains to the front door. And that's what I mentioned, the draining problems here. Water is settling up near the front step and we need to meet that challenge. Also, the resurfacing and adding of an additional sidewalk. That needs to be considered. You see how the homeowner has used the stepping stones to get from driveway to here. Instead of going all the way around, we want to provide that for them. So we'll probably pour a little concrete pad and we'll actually come in with some brick and brick up to this level. That will buy us about 4 inches to play with and use to drain and solve the problem that's here at the front step. Also, we've got a big palm tree here that's 50, 60 feet tall. It's kind of a telephone pole. In other words, it's not really adding to the overall look of the home or helping, so we're going to remove that. That'll allow us at our entry to really do and accomplish what we need to. What do you say we walk around back and meet some of the challenges there? Our concept back here is initially to make everything look better. But the homeowners have decided that a permanent walk that'll stretch from here down to the dock is necessary, is needed, and warranted. So we'll be using as our surface recycled asphalt that we'll tamp and pack, and it will be permanent. We'll use the 2 palm trees here as a focal and maybe have the bed come out and cross over our walkway that'll meander down here. And with the pool, to our right side, we've got this big bubble berm of earth. We really thought we would take advantage of the berming here and place a concrete wall such that we have planters and really make this as another focal. So the walkway will come by it and stretch all the way, meander to the gate going out the dock. So this part of the property should really look different. A big change here. Now we won't get to this till our second episode. Mostly today we'll spend most of the time in the front yard. But I just wanted to show you this as it will be developing and really again change the look completely. Well, friends, I have been looking at this little area for quite some time. I think now it's time to draw some lines. We've got these short little courtyard sections of the lawn. The only thing I can see, again, is rounding them off and making leaving the grass circular so that we don't have these stiff corners while we enhance the walk at the same time. So I'm going to start here and just draw towards you in a circle. See, that will also eliminate mowing around here, mowing around a column. Now we'll touch the grass here. We've got our walk still to design, but I'll come inside the walk with another bed that links up to, again, where I just came from. the goal will be to, again, add these little curves. Now we've got a little section here. This wall reminds me of the same process that a sidewalk would do as far as breaking up the front yard. But we can't use the crossover concept here because the wall is high and visually we lose that. So again, with these objects, as I come to the front, I mentioned these, the cycads, sago palms will be relocated. Let's do a little, like a little half circle, half circle. I guess that's a quarter and a quarter makes a half, okay? And I want to try to run then a little bit of turf through here. You see these orange and red lines? That's where we called cable locate in and telephone. So we've got our utility lines located before we dig, which we always try to do or advise you to. Now looking back at this palm tree, just inside the driveway, and we've got a square of grass around here to either string trim or mow. I want to include it in a bed and head towards you then by knocking off the corner. Let me draw that just deep enough so you can see it and feel it. And then I'll come over the entry, the front walk, and just continue down the wall, barely moving in and out. Let's see how we get to peel down the hill toward you. I didn't really show you yet, but on that column and this one on the end, the English ivy has really just been planted on the side, grown over it, and rather than uncover the brick and take it off, I think it looks good. We've got matching ones on the outpost, so we'll just leave them as is. I want to try to mimic that other little quadrant there, and so I've marked a line to try to match up to here, so that we see circle and circle. This will be converted to a different type of plant. And let's go out a little bit and come back in, just off the corner of the house. And what I want to do is match up here, continue. We'll take this square box out of here. We've opened this up. We had a full screen. You couldn't even see, but I like the trees, little calamandan oranges. They're really beautiful. A nice curve that goes all the way to the road there. What do you say now? Again, we take some time and bring the sod cutter in, pull out the unwanted grass, and see if the lines we've drawn shape up and look good. With our sagos removed, transplanted to the back, things are opening up here already. Matter of fact, when we laid some of the sagos out, these seeds were full around the head. These could be scarified and installed, well, half into the soil, germinate for new plants for the future. Well, it's time to spend some attention on our walkway. What do you say we go talk bricks? It's always good to see Brian Light with the Southern Brick Institute.
Hi, Gary. Thanks for having me today.
Welcome. Can you help us solve a problem?
I think so. I was talking to the homeowner a little earlier, and of course I noticed it when I got out of the truck. The way the yard's shaped, I bet this gets underwater.
Everything comes down here and settles right here at the step.
Well, if it's okay with you, since we have a couple of different levels that we're working with here anyway, we have this little front porch or stoop area, and then a step, and then down again. Why don't we just pick this whole area up right in here, about the same level as this step, and step here and then on down to the sidewalk, and that'll give you some height.
Yeah, that'll give me more drainage to work with, and we can send this around the side.
And we can put the same slate that's there, or you know, the slate that we bought, of course, on top of this landing.
Okay, so you're going to match this up in here. So what happens in transition, or how do you design this?
Well, we have sort of a square point here anyway, and we have a little square corner here where your sidewalk that you've added takes off.
Right.
So if maybe I could just use this board to show you. If I connected those 2 points, then I'd have a little square area there as well as here, and kind of a 45 here in the front. You can just step up on that landing and then up onto the porch.
Beautiful. And we'll just kind of do the same thing on the other side.
Same thing, yes.
All right. And what's going to be the rest of the walk?
Well, it'll be brick pavers, of course.
All right.
My expertise.
Okay, and we've got a choice of patterns, I guess.
Yes, we do. Come on, I'll show you.
All right.
The first thing we need to do, obviously, Gary, is to pick out a pattern that we're going to lay the pavers in. So I've selected 3 that I like. I hope you like one of them.
Sure.
This is maybe the easiest one, not a lot of cutting. It's called a running bond, and it just sort of ties the courses together. They break half over the one beside them, as you see.
Okay.
This one is a nicer pattern, in my opinion. It's a little harder to do, but it's called a herringbone. And it really looks good with what you've laid out here in this circular shape on the sidewalk.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement going on. It's a good-looking pattern.
Really nice. And this last one over here is called a basket weave. Pretty simple, just 2 brick this way, 2 this way, and back. So this is nice too.
Okay. So if we go with this pattern, we'll also have a border on the outside?
That's right. You'd see this inside with sort of a picture frame effect with a border around the outside of your sidewalk.
Now, we'll also, border where we drop off of this surface to the brick, huh?
And any transition between different elements, we'll have a border there too.
Okay.
But I like this one. I think the homeowner does too. So.
Yeah, a nice dark brick that's chosen here. Really should look good. Tell us more about it.
Okay. The type of brick, Gary, of course, is a paver, but the tolerances have to be a little closer on this brick than maybe something used in another application. There are standards that most things that are produced have to go by, I guess, whether it be steel or brick or whatever. And it's called ASTM, the American Society for Testing and Materials.
Okay.
So they establish standards that the brick manufacturers have to go by.
And what do you mean by tolerance then?
Well, what you want if you have a paving application and you're not going to use mortar between the joints to make up for differences in the length and width of bricks, it has to be almost the same size, brick to brick to brick to brick.
Oh, so maybe these have more of a strict tolerance or something.
A stricter
tolerance.
tolerance.
Have to be more closer to the same size.
Yeah, so the closer they can be to the same length and same width from brick to brick, the easier the application is.
Okay, and for walking and all, that would be critical.
Yeah.
Sure. Now that makes sense.
It's a color that's not always used, maybe. You might not think of a dark brick like this, but with the house, it has a lighter brick on it and some stone there in the front that kind of picks up well with this darker color. So
no, I hope it'll look good.
I think it will.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Now, we also took the liberty to pour this ahead of time, our little side entrance here. And is that going to meet your standards?
Oh, yeah,
specs here?
Sure. That looks real nice. I like the way you've connected with the existing sidewalk. It looks good.
Yeah, matter of fact, the goal, again, was to give the homeowner or visitor a point of entry from the driveway instead of walking all the way around to the front door. Matter of fact, we did this before, didn't we?
Yeah, I think it was flip-flop, maybe.
That's right. The driveway was on the other side. And again, showing how with a different pattern, different house, even though this design may be similar, it should look totally different.
Oh, yeah. No 2 jobs are alike. So.
Yeah. So what's your procedure for today?
Well, what I want to do is start over here in this area and get these landings that we talked about earlier in place so that I can lay the brick against them. So I'll probably start over here and get this first step in place.
Okay.
And lay the stone first.
And next?
Start with the paving brick. I'm really looking forward to this job. It's not your everyday sidewalk, that's for sure, with the circular section here by the house and the way all the different angles come together. It's going to be a challenge, but I think it's really going to set the front of this house off to have a nice, beautiful landscape yard, and the pavers are really pretty. They pick up on some of the colors that are on the home, so it's going to be a beautiful job, and from a mason standpoint, I'm just looking forward to doing it.
given Brian and the brick crew the rest of the day off so that we could come in, begin landscaping. As you see, we've accomplished quite a bit, and we'll get to go back and reflect and talk about that. Really, I want to bring you up close here where we're starting to finish off our beds with mulch. And today we're using a different type of mulch. Rather than the cypress here, we're going with a eucalyptus. And some of the benefits are that it comes in this wide array of color. We've decided on the black grade A eucalyptus mulch here, really for a couple of reasons. Basically, it's a little bit different, so we get to show you what a different type of mulch would look like here. And the black color just seems to work with the color of the house, and especially I think when we get in the backyard and do part of that segment there, it'll make even more sense for you or to you. Like any other mulch, the eucalyptus helps prevent weeds and holds in soil moisture around these newly planted or any installed plants. And I guess the big plus is also about resisting pests and insects that can invade or end up around the house or home. Again, this dyed mulch holds its longevity against the sun that has the tendency to somewhat fade regular mulches. I don't know if you remember, but our decision here was to keep the English ivy cascading over this column underneath. And it well matches the one on the other side for a little bit of balance. But do you remember just moments ago when I outlined this idea, drawing the paint lines, and we have removed the grass, come in with plants that'll take our low lit situation here. Boxwood, holly fern, border grass, which is very generic and dependable. Even all along the walk here now, we've got a smooth transition. We relocated the sago palm so we didn't get too busy here. I even like the way the camellia tree, the Aztec grass is underneath there. Huh? And finally, an overall perspective shows us that we've taken high maintenance grass lines, rounded them off, easy, flowing. Go back and look at what we had to begin with here, and the progress and work that we've achieved brings us to a completion. We would like to take an opportunity to thank all those who worked really hard on this designer's landscape. I'm Gary Allen, and I'll see you next time in the backyard. So long.